guys, Rodric here, and if you clicked on this link, you want to know who the heck is this guy? Life's great questions, right? I'm just a kid who grew up in Michigan without any money in a little one-bathroom house on a really busy road, and I went on to live a life that I honestly never could have imagined. I always set ridiculously audacious goals, and for instance, when I left high school, I was going to visit every Major League Baseball park in all 7 continents by the time I was 40. I had like $8 to my name. How was I going to do that? But stories for another day. But I was that kid that sold golf balls back to the golfers down at the end of the road, and sold candy at school that we picked up at Sam's or Costco, and started a little fruit stand in my front yard. And I was just always looking at that way. How do I not have to ask for money? How do I not have to do chores? How can I figure out a way to get the things I want? And I'm super young at this age, and not have to work for somebody else, just figure it out on my own. And that continued for, here we are 30 years later in this entrepreneurial venture. So I went on to create much bigger companies. At this point, I've probably had over a dozen companies in multiple industries, service and product and IP and name it. And many of those grew to be multi-million-dollar concerns. And I think the important piece here is that I identified really early on what I wanted out of life. Now, here's where I went wrong. I'm 24 years old. I had taken a job of a Fortune 100 home builder, who we won't name, and I'm making more money than I know what to do with. I can buy anything I want, do anything I want, go anywhere I want, and I absolutely hate my life. I wake up every day with that miserable, is this all there is feeling. I face depression and anxiety and worse. And 24, 25, I found myself on an operating table about to get the discs in my back fused. And otherwise, I'm healthy, right? I'm coaching sports, I'm playing sports. I played and coached baseball for a really long time. And what is happening? Like, this isn't me, right? That's where I found myself. And ultimately, I stopped the surgery. I don't know what, God, universe, call it what you want, what came over me, but I stopped the surgery. And long story short, I dove back into the books that had gotten me to that point in my life. I had always been a student of life, always read a ton of nonfiction. At this point, I'd probably read 500 books. At that point, a couple hundred. At mid-20s. And when you look at stats, that most people never read a book after high school. It's like an alarming amount of people don't read a book after high school. That's how I developed the WAVES method. And ultimately, it was just a decision filter for me. I went through all these books and my experiences and this massive failure and where I found myself in life, and knew I never wanted to be there again. And I developed the WAVES method to be a decision filter where I could go, okay, here's this next thing I want to do. I do a visioning exercise. What is that going to look like if I do it? And I run it through the system. It's an easy yes or no at that point. And ultimately, that is what has led to the success I've had to this point. Last year, I exited my last company. I don't really have to do anything. Yet, here I am working 16, 18 hours a day. We're partnered with EF, so I'm unabashedly touting EF for our foundation. And everything we do here is donated to charity. I do it because I love it. And I know that these tools need to be in other people's lives so they don't go through the same thing that I did. They don't have that heavy lift of the trials and the errors and the sadness and the failure and the depression and all the things that we experience as human beings. And we know we want more, we just don't know how to get there. So that's what I'm doing now. We have a huge year ahead. I can't even explain to you everything that's going on, and I also couldn't have told you what those things would be. I'm a big believer that with a big enough why, anyhow is possible, and I live that ethos. 6 months I took off after we sold the business. I was on a beach in Thailand, and I had this idea in my head of, hey, this is what I think I want to do. I want to take all these things I've learned. They shouldn't just die with me, and see who we can help. And if that's one person or 1 million people, that's fine. Just like the foundation, my goal is to send 1 million kids abroad in my lifetime. And I tell people, if I only send 10,000, I'm okay with that, 40 years from now. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. The next couple videos are going to kind of tell you who I work with, how it works, and see if it's for you. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. But we hope to see you in the next video. Thanks so much.